Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your boy Tez back at you with another Eden Zero chapter review. Eden Zero chapter 130, entitled Ocean 6. But like always, if you haven't already, go ahead and gravity punch that like and subscribe button for your boy for the one time. Comment down below if there's anything you'd like to say to me. You feel like I missed it or didn't actually like what I had to say. But other than that, let's get into it. So we open up into being introduced to the Angel Feather, which is the ship, as we see our boy Creed looking over pictures of Homura. Like I told you guys, he had a big crush on our girl, but I'm kind of wondering how he actually got the footage of her. As Victory pokes fun at him, saying that he's basically watching dirty videos while on the job. To his defense, he's looking over the Eden's crew, as he explained, trying to analyze them, and Victory tells him not to worry about it because they basically pose no threat, unlike LZ and Nero. And after taking into account each of the members, and they get over to my boy Moscow, like, what the fuck is this? Like, just looking at Moscow, like, bro, what is this? And I'm just like, bro, Moscow gets no respect. I'm kind of sick of it because, bro, I'm telling you, watch when we actually see what Moscow can do when he presses that button on his stomach. It's gonna be a lot of fans out there. That's all I'm saying. Or it could be a dud, but I mostly feel like it's gonna be something impressive. So Victory's composure kind of shifts as he explains that two of the Ocean Six, as the title goes, are in this part of the cosmos just as well as Ziggy. Now we get over to Justice, who seems to be healing from his wounds in battle and everything else that had happened, as he's talking to Holy from on the virtual screen again, explaining how Nero has gathered his top officials on the planet Nero, known as the Temple, in addition to his deadbeat son being there, Shura, which Justice cares nothing of, but Holy tells him he should, as he will take over once Nero has passed and could be a real threat, and now is the time to strike to save them the trouble rather than before he gains real power. And as we see Holy in what appears to be a bar stating she won't be joining them alongside Jaguar and Eraser, who are currently making their way there, she tells Justice he should let them help as he can't handle them all on his own. And as she has other fish to fry currently, but I kind of don't trust what Holy has to say either. Like just the look she gives off while she's basically disconnecting. And then we transition over to planet Nero, which looks like this booming metropolis with all these really high buildings, as we see like these temple doors and a man holding what appears to look like more dice in his hand, kind of giving this Dungeon and Dragons vibe. And to see basically that's none other than Poseidon Nero himself. So what we won't do is like kind of bypass the fact that this man literally has a really nice design. Like Nero kind of looks like Cthulhu meets a fisherman from One Piece, but that's neither here nor there. But we're getting a better look at now the table he's addressing and the individuals at this table, as he speaks about what happened on Forrester and Ziggy. And we see his son Shura, as well as the other members of the Ocean Six, the first being Callum Stilford, who asks, who is Ziggy? Then we see Lyra, who tells us not only is he a friend of Nero, but Ziggy also trained Shura in his gravity as well, which kind of threw me off, saying, more so I'm like, okay, I didn't know several users could have the same exact type of magic, or more so it's just that, okay, maybe Aether isn't something that's easily accessed by everybody, though it's around them. You have to be able to tap into it in order to use it. So it kind of made sense when Zenolith was talking about the Magimech school of gravity. So like, individuals who want to learn in using gravity Aether go to this school to learn how to do it, or so on and so forth. But there were some other things that I'll probably address at the end of this as we get further into that. So then there's also the other member of the Ocean Six, Nase, who was asking if is Ziggy dead? And Nero tells him that, tells him that he's returned to life and lost his heart to the darkness and plans to strike him down. And as Shura questions, why would he do that? Millennia Lucre, who's also, we're naming off basically all the members of the Ocean Six, said any act of violence in the IO cosmos was the same thing as rebelling against Nero, his majesty himself, as Sisa felt ashamed of his robotic brother to bear his fangs at Nero, while Fabiano, which my man has the cleanest name I've heard entirely in this whole franchise. Basically, Fabiano is pretty much saying, forget everything else, let's just go to war and strike him down, like forget all the small formalities. As Nero wishes to know what Ziggy's true intentions are, as he was once a friend, Nero casts his die, as Shura kind of speaks out ill of them and is kind of caught off guard and told to hold his tongue. Nero informs us that they are linked to his ether, that his die have never betrayed him, which is how in just one generation he built this empire, his sacred guiding die. Which Fabiano then asks, what are they telling him? Which is, he says, if it is their will, he will obey and do nothing. As the Oceans kind of all look on, and Callum is more surprised than the rest of them. As Nero exits, he tells Shura he will leave this matter entirely to him, and with a grin, Shura says he better mean that. While Shura's inner thoughts kind of say something, polar opposite of his facial expression. You know, it's more evil and sinister than anything, claiming his father's a fool to be ruled by those numbers. As Shura's secretary transfers command of the Ocean Six to him, and some seem kind of okay with that. There was even this whole line about doing perverse stuff from the chocolate bunny, I'm assuming, of the Ocean Six. And he's just kind of like, they're basically going to squash Ziggy like a bug. These are Shura's words. He's basically saying he's going to squash Ziggy like a bug. And I kind of have a hard time believing that, like, no matter what's getting ready to happen. But this is, to me, overall, this is shaping up to see Shiki kind of transcend well more than what I'm thinking he will be once this is done. Because if we do or don't see Ziggy, just the battle between Shiki and Shura, two students of Ziggy, something's bound to happen. Like, there's either going to be an awakening of some kind or further development of one's own skills, but that's neither here nor there. We get back over to Eden's as Zenolith is telling us the reason Ziggy came to attack Forrester, as he suspected it was because of him, and it was more out of his fear of Zeno, kind of as Tashiki's rebuttal. He's like, oh yeah, you taught him everything he knows, but Zeno's like, no, this is not the reason. He's more fearful that the two of them crossing paths and Zeno making Shiki even stronger. As Zeno says, he will grant him his power and he must find Ziggy and defeat him, as our chapter closes. Now, guys, again, I was gonna say that whole thing about, I don't know if Ziggy will make an appearance. If he does, it would be pretty dope. Like, let's say Nero is actually killed and it's by the hands of Ziggy, and then Shura takes over and so on and so forth. But it's like there's 3 gravity users and even a 4th, and I don't really understand how Zenolith is going to pass his powers on to Shiki. I think that'd be a big ass gap jump and overload. Like, there'd be no real way to gain that. I mean, he gained his overdrive because Rebecca basically jumped back in time into a completely different timeline, because he had the premature overdrive that we saw 2 times in several instances until she did that 3rd leap. So who knows what's gonna happen, but I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening with this whole new planet arc and how we're gonna see some more battles coming up. Because if the Ocean Six are targeting people, the stars and everybody's gonna be fighting. We might see Colleen use some new stuff because she's got her personality back. Chris might be able to fully go. He might go super robotic ninja mode. Hey, my boy Moskoi might even come out and push that button. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, as always, I thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, gravity punch that like button and subscribe for the one time. I will catch y'all for chapter 131. Y'all be good, be blessed, stay safe out here, people. Peace.